So I wanted to comment on this short I saw, which is of the artist Halsey. I think everyone knows her. She's super famous, but she's talking about how the Great Impersonator album, which her newest album, which I think is great, it didn't do the numbers that the studio wanted it to do. It didn't do, I think, what it was like Badlands numbers, which was like a blockbuster hit in terms of, album sales. And now she can't make another album. And so let's watch, then I'll talk about it.
I can't make an album right now. I'm not allowed to. I can't make an album right now. Yeah, what's the reality? Because the Great Impersonator didn't perform that the way they thought it was going to. And if I'm being honest with you, the album sold 100,000 fucking copies first week. That's a pretty big first week, especially.
So that's kind of interesting. Like the album still sold 100,000 copies. 100,000 copies. Nothing I've ever done, written, published, has gotten anywhere near that. But it was still publishable or writable. I was in the science field. And I find it a little sad. One, because I love Halsey. I think she's great. I loved her newest album. But and this is just part of the game, is that it's music, but it's a business. And you still have to hit those numbers, and the lights still have to go on. But I guess my question is there a middle ground? And also, is it realistic to always keep topping yourself or having the expectation to always one up the next? Okay, this movie made 2 billion. Okay, the next one needs to make 3 billion. Like constant hyper growth, it's just not sustainable in any industry. And I thought this clip highlighted it well, but it also makes me melancholy. One, because I would love to have another album from Halsey. And I hope she moved to another record label. Two, I thought it was great. It was experimental. It still sold well, but it didn't sell well to these standards that are, in my opinion, unrealistic. And I get it. The studio or whatever has to make some money back. But even, I don't know the economics, but even with 100,000 copies, they didn't make any money from that. I would still think, made a profit. I would think. Again, I don't know music economics. People chime in. Maybe they didn't make any profit, and that's just not enough to keep the lights on. But I think, moreover, there's this one-upsmanship in terms of sales and consumerism that, it did really well. We need to have the next one do better, and then better, and then better, and then better. You cannot have, I'm going blank. I don't think it's possible to continue to just rise indefinitely all the time. And moreover, can there be a balancing act between profits, numbers, and genuine art or creation? Because sometimes genuine art or creation or something doesn't pay off, or it pays off, but doesn't pay off in the big billions or whatever at first. But then later it has its future proof, and then people come back to it and it becomes a cult classic, and then there's sales there. But again, that's the waiting game, and people don't want to wait. Studios don't want to wait. They want the profit now. But again, I say that profit now, numbers now, clicks now, I don't think it's sustainable. I'm going to keep saying that. I don't think it's sustainable. Is there a middle ground? I think there should be a middle ground. I think it's a better business model to have a middle ground. And also, too, again, as I'm pontificating here, we're making these things at the end of the day for a consumer, but for a person. And as I'm philosophizing, which is not a word, I just made up that word, and I couldn't even pronounce it. But I don't know. There's this constant chasing of numbers. But again, and this is me speaking naively about business, is the constant chasing of numbers, is it a snake eating its own tail? Because if there's just constant metrics all the time, do you lose track of the thing that you're making, which is maybe a quality product? And will the metrics fall after a while if you're just not making quality, if you never get experimental, if you never change, like Halsey tried to do something experimental? tried to do something different. It didn't do the numbers that her more mainstream albums did, but that's okay, right? It didn't do, as I think she points out later in the video, it didn't do Taylor Swift numbers, but Taylor Swift is an anomaly, right? And if that's the benchmark, then there's no art, because no one starting out can do those numbers. And even if you're a great artist, you might never do Taylor Swift numbers just because circumstance, luck, exposure, marketing, all that. And I'm ranting here, but I guess my point is how do we balance the business with the art, the business with the product that we're making, which is supposed to be for people? I get that we need to turn the lights on, but like where's the balance? I'd love to hear people's thoughts on it.